I told Rufus to remind you every day how much I love you.
Yes. This season has been a huge journey for Faith. We see her in a brand new era in a way we've never seen her before. And yes, she adopts this new persona, Auntie Faith. And she basically her heart cracks open this season because she meets this adorable little girl who needs to be cared for while her grandma's sick. And I love this for Faith. I think this is a long time coming. This is something that was not expected, and we get to see her thrive in a brand new way. When Lily shows up, I don't think it was on Faith's radar whatsoever that this child may become hers, so to speak. I think that is something that as the season progresses and as we see Faith and Lily's relationship blossom, we start to recognize, wow, this is a dynamic that works so well. And I think with each passing episode, it becomes harder and harder to confront the fact that eventually we are going to have news about the grandmother and we are going to know that a decision will have to be made. So I don't think in the early days that's something Faith thought of, but as the episodes go on, as this dynamic matures, she knows she's gonna reach this crux, this point, and she's gonna have to likely say goodbye. And I think that's just so heartbreaking for her to contend with. But obviously, the big choice is made in episode 10 of season 11. When Faith finds out that Lily will be staying in Hope Valley permanently, I think that is it's just this seismic moment of relief. And it was just so fun to get to play as an actor, because it's something that Faith didn't know early on, did not know she wanted, but in the end realizes that this is the person she needs in her life. And obviously she's a doctor, she's ethical, she wouldn't want to overstep, and she wouldn't want to take Lily away from any family members. But you know, in taking careful consideration with Dora Watson, her grandmother, they come to the conclusion that this is probably the best life for Lily. And yes, I think it is just ultimate relief and just joy knowing that this dynamic is going to continue to grow, and we're going to get to see Faith continue to grow as a mother, in a mother role, and we're going to see her little companion along with her for the ride. And I think it's a huge relief. It's so heartwarming, and it was one of my absolute favorite scenes to play out this season. I do think that the dynamic between Dora and Faith and deciding to maintain a cohesive kind of family unit was the best solution. Because I knew early on when Lily joined the show, I remember thinking, oh my goodness, like, how are we going to contend with this? What's going to happen? And I just think that was just such a wonderful resolution. Dora is still a part of the family, but Dora doesn't have to do 100% of the caretaking anymore. Lily gets to grow up in a town alongside so many wonderful children. Eventually, fingers crossed, she ends up in Elizabeth's school. I mean, there's just so much for her in Hope Valley, and it was just so wonderful that Dora recognized that. I think the departure of Fiona, it hits Faith like a ton of bricks in season 11. And I think it hits the audience that way too, because Fiona's just such a loved character. She's so dynamic. She's so interesting. And it was a moment I was really happy we got to explore on the show, that longing, missing your best friend and knowing that they're off fulfilling their dream and doing everything they can to live up to that dream, and maybe thinking to yourself, oh no, am I falling behind? So I was really happy we got to explore that. And I do like the fact that Faith and Fiona have remained pen pals. So even when you're not seeing this dynamic play out on screen, you can rest assured that these two characters are in close contact with each other always. And I think Fiona would be nothing but proud and elated that Faith has a new member of her own little family. And I think in a perfect world, it would just be so amazing for Fiona to get to meet Lily. obviously, Faith has had a tumultuous love life. We've seen this throughout many seasons. She has dated, she's kind of given her heart away, but not fully. And I think the expectation is, okay, Faith is lonely. Maybe she'll meet a man this season. In fact, that's even going into season 11, that was on my mind. I was like, oh, I wonder if this will be the year where Faith finds her match. And the Lily storyline was just such a great, I don't want to say distraction, but just such a great addition in Faith's life. It's a form of love she wasn't expecting. She takes on a role she also was not expecting to play. And it just sort of shows you that love comes in so many different forms, and we can give love in so many different ways. It's not always romantic. And it was something that it dawned on me, you know, as the Faith Lily dynamic continues on throughout the season, and just realizing, wow, there's so much more to life than just romance. So obviously that's still an aspect of Faith's life that she is missing, but I think she's actually quite fulfilled for the first time possibly ever on the show in a way that she just was not expecting. Faith and romance. I do think, I don't think Faith is she's not naive. I think she does ultimately want a partner. I think that would be good for her. I think she knows that would be good for herself. But she is that interesting modern woman in the 1920s who sought out a dream that was so different from most women in her generation. She became a doctor. She values the town so deeply that love has always ended up being brushed aside. I do hope that she comes to a point where she can let her guard down enough to find the right person, but I think it's just a matter of, again, finding that right person. I don't know if that person's fallen into her life yet. Ooh, the Lucas storyline. I actually, yes, I had shifting theories as the season was being shot, obviously. But that also wasn't a storyline that Faith was implicated in whatsoever. There were some scenes that I did shoot. There were some Faith Lucas scenes that I think ended up on the cutting room floor, and it had more to do with his injuries. So that was sort of her preoccupation with the situation, was just, he's my patient, let's make sure that he's okay so that he can continue on with his governor responsibilities. But I had theories, but I also don't, I do this in real life as well. I don't like to try to guess the plot. I like to let it wash over me, and I like to try to stay in the moment. And I think the writers did a fantastic job. I think this is something we've never seen on this show, the whodunit angle, and it was just as exciting to read, I think, as it is for audiences to engage with now that the season's airing. Yes. I don't want to spoil anything about the remaining episodes coming up, but there were many rewrites about the dynamics involving Lucas when trouble kind of comes to town, as we all know will be forthcoming. And yeah, are there ways for Faith to be implicated in that? Yes. But in true Hope Valley fashion, I think everything will be resolved in a nice way. There's nothing absolutely dire that we'll have to confront at the end of the season, but yeah, there are some testy moments coming up. I would have loved to have gotten involved in the whodunit. I just wish there was maybe a medical paper trail or a bit of a medical storyline. Maybe they found a bullet and there was blood splatter. I mean, I think there could be something so fun there. Unfortunately, Faith was preoccupied with a bunch of other things in 11, but would I want Faith to be involved in crime stopping? Yes. I actually think Faith is very organized. She cares so deeply about her friends, her town, that I think if she were put on the case, I don't think she would fail. I think she'd burn the midnight oil, be up all night trying to help solve it. I think that she would be a good contender. If Rosemary ever needs a break, I feel like Faith would I just love seeing Faith become a mother, or just to take on a caretaking role in a way that's so different from a doctor role. I think she's someone who's always been good with kids when they come in, and she's helped up with bruises and band-aids and broken arms with kids for many years, but it's just so special to get to raise a child and to see them through special life events. And it's something, as an actor too, I have become a parent since being on this show, and just it's such a massive shift to undergo, and I'm just so happy that Faith also gets to experience that, because there's nothing like it. And everyone says that your life changes after having kids, but it truly does in every fashion, and I think it's just so perfect for her, and I truly do believe her heart is cracked open in a whole new way now. So in the last 2 episodes, we have something very exciting and perhaps unexpected take place, and it involves the entire community. And those are always my favorite episodes because I genuinely adore every actor on this show. I'm so close with everyone, and those are the fun days where we all get to sit around on set in our big circle and chat and hang out. So there's a big event that draws everyone close together quite quickly, and I think that Hearties are going to love what we have in store for the end of the season. Ooh, I actually think we're about to launch into season 12 in a way that perhaps haven't done before. I don't want to give anything away, but I think a lot of people are, it's not just Faith, let's say this. It's not just Faith who's had her heart cracked open at the end of this season. I think a lot of characters are in their new era, to reference Taylor Swift, and we're seeing them really launch into the 1920s in a really interesting way. Well, in season 12, I genuinely hope that we just get to see a ton more Lily Faith scenes. I would love to see Lily really set some roots down in Hope Valley. I really want to see Lily explore relationships with the other kids in town, and I would also love to see her start school, and I would love that for Faith. I would love to see what that means to Faith to have a kid going through all of life's experiences and getting to be there by her side, maybe when things are when there are highs and lows. I want to see that motherly dynamic continue to evolve for Faith. And of course, I'm always pushing for the medical storylines. I grew up watching Dr. Quinn, Medicine Woman, and I love a crisis. I love when the town rallies, everyone comes in, people are lending helping hands so that we can fix somebody or fix an ailment, help heal. I always love those storylines. So anytime Faith can, show her doctor skills, I'm all for that as well.